Welcome to Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, the websites by plebs. All right, we're going to the numbers. Let's do it, people.
Number time! Sponsored by
Bitcoin 2022.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 702,616. The Bitcoin price, 41,285. Chain rewrite days, 833. Total public lightning capacity, 2,941.20. We're close, my friend. New all-time high on that.
Yeah, it is a new all-time high.
Right?
We're close to the lightning.
We're close to the next sound. All right. Sats per dollar, 2,422. And the blocks to the halvening, 137,384. Yeah, that's right. The numbers are very uneventful.
No, not at all, dude.
Well, just our lightning capacity. The lightning capacity is the signal, but I'm talking about the Bitcoin price is just like floundering.
The caca price. Caca price.
Yeah, exactly.
The
fiat price.
The caca price, okay. The caca price. Caca means shit in Spanish, okay? It's just,
and in French, by the way.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
Caca.
Yeah, caca is universal, man. Everybody.
Universal.
Listen, you don't even have to know what somebody's talking about. You just have to say those sounds, and like somebody will look over at you and be like, "I know what you're talking about."
It's true.
Shit.
It's true. Listen, guys. The reason that we call it the caca price, right, is because we want to focus on the signal, right? You shouldn't be focused on what your net worth is in dollars. What you should be focused on, right, is how much Bitcoin you have. You should always try to have more Bitcoin than the day before, because that Bitcoin number, when the music stops, is what's important. The dollar number, it might seem important now, right? But I'm telling you, over time, it will lose value towards Bitcoin. So what's the actual signal, right, which is why we don't like to speculate that much on this show, is the amount of Bitcoin that you have. That is your true net worth, right? So that's why we call it the caca price. But anyways, Phil, back to the pattern that we've been picking up. The caca price took a little bit of a dump, right? Went down to 41, and the lightning capacity went back up, and we're almost at the 2,500, right?
Yep.
So, interesting observation. Interesting.
Oh yeah, I like it. I like what we're seeing. You know, I find there's a lot of calm going on, right? Like there's a lot of noise, right? We're seeing a lot of noise out of the mainstream media and the Economist and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we are seeing some, I think, healthy consolidation in the Bitcoin caca price, as Nico likes to call it.
I agree, man. Let's see what happens. The end of the fourth quarter. If we follow the historical pattern, it's gonna be exciting. I'll just say that. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Fail, sponsored by
Pirate Hash.
All right, so we've been hammering on the China FUD for a couple of days, with the daily fails, and we were going to continue with this. We were supposed to have a different guest, which we don't, so we pivoted to a different fail. All right, and this one, as you can see from the title, is just going to be hilarious. So here we go. Dolce & Gabbana prods Elon Musk to buy a Doge Crown NFT. Look at that, huh? Fake crown. It's nice.
I want the Italian name so that you could say it, so I could laugh. Last time you're like, collezione.
Oh, just wait. They've got one of those. No, just wait. They've got one of these here. It's not the collezione. This is a different one. All right, here we go. So look, the NFT in question is called the Doge Crown. And this is the best part, people. It features 7 blue sapphires and 142 diamonds. Or, as I like to call it, a JPEG. It features a bunch of colors on a screen. There's no diamonds. There's no sapphires. You could technically say that it has 400 sapphires right now and 7,000 diamonds. It wouldn't matter. None of it's real. It's not even real. All right. Anyways. Oh, but my unique hash ID. Let me show you that.
Wait, bro. Hold on.
Oh, let me see. Where's your unique hash ID, Nico? Where's your unique hash ID? If I don't see that unique hash ID, that picture isn't real.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. There were some people in the comments of this video when we made fun of this guy that were like, "No, dude, that's on the blockchain. That's not really yours. How is this not mine?
How is that not really his? Boom, he just picked it. It's his. That's it. That's where game over.
I could put it on better paper. I could frame it. I could sell it for art. Why is the blockchain gonna stop any of this?
Nope.
Do you understand how dog shit this? Okay, listen. Look, let's talk about it for a little bit, okay?
Yeah, let's go.
Try making a copy of a Bitcoin. Go.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. You can't.
See how that works out.
Right?
And then, yeah, exactly.
And then try making a copy of an image. Right click. And then the people, and I've showed you, and I'll put up a little frame just to show you guys again, Getty Images, which is like the stock for all of the newspapers. That's where they get all the pictures of the politicians, right? You know what they put? They put a watermark that says Getty Images and a number. Why? Because they don't want you copying it. You have to buy the one without the watermark. So these dumb fucks think that just because it's on the blockchain, like, people can't take, like, what reality do you live in? I don't know. I have no idea.
The only thing they own is the right to that unique, that CID, that hash ID. That is it. That is the only thing that they own. Everyone can do whatever they want with the picture that they supposedly own.
Exactly.
Okay?
So you do own the hash, but that's just a bunch of fucking numbers. That's all it is, right? But I guess you could convince someone else that those bunch of fucking numbers of that image that as someone could just right click of has value. Like, look, apparently a bunch of people will fucking believe so. But this reminds me of, Phil, of the ICO boom of 2017. It reminds me of the same speculation, same create Lemonade coin. You need to buy Lemonade coin because that's the way that people are going to buy Lemonade in the future. And then you're just like, well, why can't you just use Bitcoin? They're like, no. But then there's like Power Coin. It's like, and that's the Power Coin that they're going to use for the electrical grids. And like, you don't understand. It's the same fucking garbage. It's just this cycle. It's the NFT. Instead of ICOs, right? Because you can't do those anymore because the SEC went after those. The shitcoiners figured out with their amazing names. You got to give them credit for that. Figured out a way, right? To just put together some more shit, right? And here we have Dolce and Gabbana. Anyways, I'm gonna
exactly. And okay, so hold on before we wrap up this article. I just want to point out when the 80s and 90s sports card craze died out. Okay, obviously many people who spent thousands of dollars on all of these cards, found themselves holding a bag. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Okay, so for me, I mean, this is like the collectible card craze on steroids because here you don't even get anything. And then on top of that, it's not real. So you're getting you're just getting screwed doubly. But the point I'm trying to make is that card companies had to think of imaginative ways to get you to still buy their cards and make them collectible and unique. So at some point, what they started to do was include pieces of material of the player's outfit with the card.
What do you mean?
That didn't... let's say you're a hockey player. So they would take like a piece of your outfit, like, your sweater or whatever, cut off a little piece or whatever, and they would put it in the card, right? And it would be like in the card, trying to create uniqueness.
That is so stupid.
That still didn't work. That never brought the card industry back anyways. I'm just saying so many people are getting screwed. And again, if you're a collector and you like to collect stuff, I'm a collector. I know what it's like. I collect useless crap. I understand it's useless crap. Aware that it's useless crap. Understand that I cannot sell it to someone else because they may understand it's more useless than I think it is. Okay? But this is my point, is that people aren't realistic. It's like, oh my God, this thing's going to be worth tons. Anyways, it's not. It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Okay, here we go. The fashion house hinted that Musk should take part. Oh, so he's not even taking part. Hinted that Musk should take part in their auction of a so-called Doge Crown. The crown is part of the luxury brand's first foray into
You said it wrong. You have to say it in Italian.
Which part?
The Doge Crown.
The Doge Crown.
Doge Crown.
The Doge Crown, eh?
The
really?
Doge Crown.
But I feel like
I don't know. I just did the accent.
It's just Doge Crown. I don't know. Okay, so anyways, so hold on. The Crown is part of the luxury brand's first foray into the non-fungible token world. It's currently available via live auction and has a current bid. This is how you know fiat is worthless. $495,676. Yes, this is not this number. This number is not a representation that, oh wow, this company's got a really good product that they're selling. This number represents our stupidity. That's all. Right? When you look at that, it's not yay great idea, it's oh stupid humans. Anyways, D&G's NFT collection. The Doge Crown is just one of 9 unique pieces that make up, here we go, Nico, make up the Collection Genesee on UNXD's marketplace. The Collection Genesee. So I just don't see anyone giving a shit. Anyways, the collection, which took 16,000 hours to create. Really? I want to see that. I want to see the receipts on the 16,000 hours that it took to make this collection. Has already seen more than 1.5 million in bids.
Mira, I get it. I get it now. The collection includes physical copies. Yeah. So it's a racket to sell. It's the physical copies that are actually, you could say they are worth that, right? Because if they are handmade, but it goes back to what I'm saying.
You don't need the NFT.
Physical goddamn copy. I'm sure that the physical Doge Crown, like made in Italy, looks badass. And
I'm sure it's really cool.
And I'm telling you, it's overpriced. You know, they make crazy margins in the luxury industry, right? The last time I heard, it's like 300 to 400% per. You know those luxury wallets and stuff, right? They make crazy margins, right? So, but at the same time, you are buying something, if you're into that, some people are into that, to each their own, what Phil says, right? So, yeah, look, it probably looks badass. I like art. I wouldn't buy it because it's fucking Doge. Maybe if it was a Bitcoin crown, made in Italy by D&G, like physical, not NFT, like maybe I'd be like, if I had the money, of course, maybe I'd be like, yeah, why not? If I was Sailor, fuck, I would buy that shit. But why they don't need it? It's the same thing. The same thing we said in 2017. Same thing, Phil. Why the fuck do I need Lemonade coin if I could just use Bitcoin?
Yep.
Why do you need an NFT if you could just make the goddamn physical product? I understand D&G. D&G, they're being smart because they're all these dumb fucks are buying this shit.
They're maintaining their relevance.
They're like, let's just continue making luxury products and add a little bit of NFT, shit dust on top.
That's not sprinkles, it's turds.
Oh man. That was an adventure, man. Oh my god, that was a good one. Okay, Phil, what's your next fail?
All right, here we go. The next one's a little different, not as funny, a little more serious. Here we go. Nico gave me the blessing. We are allowed to play this whole video. Here we go. Jen Psaki's gonna try to convince us that. Well, you'll see what she's gonna try to convince us of.
I want to ask you about what Republicans are pointing to in the analysis from the Joint Committee on Taxation. They say, according to, if I've read the chart correctly, more than 16% of taxpayers would see their taxes increase under the bill that's approved by the House Ways and Means Committee. Will the president sign that bill as it is coming out of that committee, or will he insist on the changes so that he will maintain his commitment that taxes won't go up on people making $400,000 a year?
I have not looked at the document or the report that you have put out. Obviously, the president, or that you have referenced, I should say, that the Republicans put out. Obviously, the president's commitment remains not raising taxes for anyone making less than $400,000 a year. There are some, and I'm not sure if this is the case in this report, who argue that in the past, companies have passed on these costs to consumers. I'm not sure if that's the argument being made in this report. We feel that that's unfair and absurd, and the American people would not stand for that. But I will take a closer look at this report and get you a more substantive response. Go ahead, Jackie.
You mean market forces?
Did you just so hold on a second. So Nico, as a business owner, if you incur, just explain this to me because I'm obviously a simpleton, and that's perfectly fine. I don't mind being stupid. So if you're paying more to sell a product, does that not get reflected in the price of the product?
Yeah, look, I'll talk about, I have a fiat business. I sell, I don't want to dox myself too much, but I sell a type of food, right? A particular type of food. And if the government raised my taxes, that would increase my cost of business, right? And I would absolutely have to pass on that cost to my to my customers, right? Or else I would go out of business. My margins shrink. She's shrinking my margins when she says that, right? I'm sure, I don't know if that applies to me. I'm a small business, right? But, essentially, if the government increases their taxes, that's another cost onto me, right? So, like, how do I deal with that cost? I either eat it or I increase the price of my foods. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be the only one increasing the prices. Everyone else is going to increase their prices too. This is market forces. Like, this isn't just ideology or like, oh, that isn't fair. It's like, it's not about being fair. It's about like, do I want a profitable business or do I not? Right? Like, I can't make my prices too high, right? Or else what happens? Everyone buys from someone else.
Go to somebody else.
I can make my prices as low as possible to be competitive with everybody else. But at the same time, I can't make them too low or else I'm losing money. Right?
You can't force yourself out of business, is what you're saying. So that's the goal of a businessman, right? Like, not to force themselves out of business.
Exactly.
I mean, like, that's definitely obviously to maintain profitability and to grow profitability. But how does she say that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like that's nuts, man. And I'm not getting political, dude, but it's so crazy. Like, this is nuts, man. And you know what it is? It's that she's never worked outside of the bureaucracy. She's never had a private sector job. She's been a bureaucrat. So like she's like on the high tower with the power of the money printer, and she sees that like it's so out of touch with reality. And at the end of the day, listen, guys, I guarantee you he is going to raise taxes for everybody. Why do I know that for certain? They're trying. This isn't about Trump. This isn't about Biden. Okay, just put it aside. I'm just talking about objectively about what he's trying to pass. Okay, we're apolitical on the show. We're only for Bitcoin specifically. We are the Orange Party, baby. Okay, $3.5 trillion. They're gonna have to find a way to pay for it, right? They can't money print it all the way, right? And guess what's going to happen? They're going to raise your taxes. Everybody. It's not just the big companies. That's not how it works. It's just common sense, right? And yeah, man, but is this a problem with these bureaucrats, bro? Like, maybe she even believes what the fuck she's saying. I don't know. I have no fucking idea at this point, bro.
She has no grasp.
Bro, they're bureaucrats. They don't provide, it's what you say, they don't provide any value. They're just on their ivory towers and they're like, yes, for the serfs, this is the policy that I'm going to pass for them. Mm-hmm. And if you have no business experience, right? If you have no business experience and you're trying to run something, I'm telling you, you're not going to know how to do it. Period. Like, period. Like, this is why politicians suck, man. I'm telling you. It's just absolutely absurd. Oh,
you hit the nail on the head, though.
So many amazing fails today, Phil. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hey, look, we got to give a shout out to the listeners, right, and the viewers. Like you guys, you give us so much material, we can't even keep up with it. So you know what I mean? Like we've got like a reel of material. So yeah, good fails. Very sad that people are willing to coerce their fellow humans into being poor and into, terrible monetary policies and lies. But hey, that's why we've got Bitcoin.
This is why we Bitcoin, baby. Phil's
that's right.
Absolutely effing right. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review, sponsored by
Citadel 21.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by, again, Bitcoin Zappo. Man, and you know why we're reviewing his meme again? Because he joined our Telegram group and he linked us a meme to review. And this is a Bitcoin meme review, so we're reviewing his meme. Anyways, he has some awesome memes. Shout out to everybody else in the Telegram group as well. You guys are the best. Plebs are the best. Anyways, central banks, Bitcoiners.
This meme has been used so much.
That's how I feel.
Of course.
Okay, amazing meme. Okay, next one. By same guy. Bitcoin sample. Once again, Bitcoin fix this. USA, China. Why a Doge? ¿Qué es eso que Doge? No, you got to use a kitty, bro. You don't use Doge. You listen. You put a band-aid on top of it because you put Bitcoin, okay? But it's still a gaping wound.
It's true. This is true. Very well said.
Anyways, for that meme, Phil, I'm going to give it another shitcoin. There's a state-sponsored shitcoin. It's 2,000 Dominican pesos.
Very nice.
What about you?
Very nice. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, look. Love the first one. Second one, like you said, I got to agree. It shouldn't have been the dog, right? Or at the very least, it could have been a giant taco or something like that, right? So I am giving it my lantern, a red lantern.
From the movies.
That's right. It's pretty cool, huh?
If
Anyways.
I saw you walking around with that, I would laugh so hard.
Isn't that awesome?
Phil with the lantern.
Hey, you know what? But remember, right? It's very symbolic, right? Lanterns are very symbolic.
They are.
In dark, in dark places, they shine the light of knowledge. So there we go.
And in the Dominican Republic, this is worth something.
And in the Dominican Republic, this is not toilet paper.
But here it is. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody, check out this article by the Associated Press. Far-right cryptocurrency follow. This is the signal, okay? This is going to be another attack vector when Bitcoin, the higher the Bitcoin goes up in market cap, the more it will become political. It will become a topic of contention in politics, you know, in your country, right? Unfortunately, for Phil and I, we live in the country with the world reserve currency. So they're going to want to try their hardest, right, to try to hold on to that. So, you know, all of this are attack vectors. You know, if you live in a country that least benefits from the legacy financial system, like El Salvador, like the Ukraine, this doesn't really apply to you. You're just going to be watching, eating your popcorn, and hodling your Bitcoin and just laughing. So anyways, check this out, though. This is an Associated Press, okay? The real deal on those fiat mainstream media propaganda arms. Far-right Bitcoin and shitcoins follows ideology across borders. I want you guys to pay attention to that, okay?
Oh yeah, this looks like some serious bullshit, Nico. I'm just saying. It's gonna be interesting, but I'm just I can already tell that this is gonna be some serious nonsense. But continue, I'm excited.
So again, we want to specify on simply Bitcoin. We don't lean right. We don't lean left.
Nope.
We lean orange. We lean for Bitcoin, which means we lean for individual freedoms, right? And live and let live. So you let you do you. You let me do me. And we could all be free. We could all be happy. Okay, that's what we believe in. Okay, that's what Bitcoin represents. That's what Bitcoin enables you to do. Okay, just want to specify this before I get into this stuff. Okay, the Daily Stromer website advocates for purity of white a post-hate-filled conspiratorial screeds against different ethnic groups and helped inspired at least 3 Rahi-motivated murders, and it has made its founder, Andrew Angle, a millionaire. I'm sorry, guys, I can't say any of those words, but you guys get the point. This guy apparently, you know, he doesn't like specific ethnic groups, but bear with me. Angle is just one very public example of how radical right provocateurs are raising significant amount of money from around the world through Bitcoin and shitcoins. Banned by traditional financial institutions, they have taken refuge in digital currencies, which they are using in ever more secretive ways to avoid the oversight of banks, regulators, courts, fines, and Associated Press analysts of legal documents, Telegram channels, and blockchain data from Chain Analysis, a cryptocurrency analytics firm. His victims have tried and failed to find him, searching at one Ohio address after another. Voting records place him in Russia in 2016. His passport shows he was in Cambodia in 2017. After that, the public trail goes cold. He has no obvious bank accounts or real estate holdings in the U.S. For now, his Bitcoin fortune remains out of reach. We were able to sue the Ku Klux Klan, a terrorist organization in essence out of existence, she said. Doing the same today is much harder. The law is evolving but lagging behind the harm. Check out the wording, Phil. Currency of the radical right. Okay, so the reason I wanted to cover this, right?
Did we not call this?
Is because we did call this, and we actually did cover this, right? When Phil ran into this guy's book, right? And it's written in 2016, right? The Politics of Bitcoin, Software as Right-Wing Extremism. Now, I actually, because I was so curious, I listened to David Goomba, the author of that book, on a podcast. Tech Will Not Save Us, I think was the name. And I listened to it on 2 times the speed, and I wanted to legitimately know what his reasoning is and why he thinks Bitcoin is far right. Okay, so his reasoning is essentially that as Bitcoiners, we have this conspiracy theory about central banking and that the regulations aren't all that bad and that it's all overblown and it's created this nonsense of that central banking is evil and it's all this conspiracy theory stuff. And then he also made an argument essentially saying that it's heavily centralized, that that it requires tremendous amount of resources to run a big, I think he said miner, but I think he meant node, right? And all of that's a lie, right? Node is extremely cheap. You could build one for less than $300, right? And you're part of the Bitcoin network, right? And you could send and receive, and you're also protecting the Bitcoin network, right? If the miners want to attack it like they did in 2017, didn't work out very well for them, right? So again, he was very disingenuous when he was saying all these points, and I just want to address one of the conspiracy theory points that he said. He said that there's necessary regulations in place for the Fed not to take advantage of the public, but like we covered a couple days ago, Powell and 2 other people were caught insider trading, essentially putting their money or using the printed money and putting it into assets that they have already purchased in the past, right? So to debunk things about that. Now, let's kind of double back to this far right extremist, which I think this is the connection that they're trying to build, right? Is that the fact that governments and banks and regulators can't touch it, right? The fact that non-elected officials can't invade your stuff is a far right idea. That's the connection that they're trying to make, right? They're saying because there's no democratic way essentially to get hands on to your property, to your Bitcoin, right? It's a far right idea, right? That's the concept that they're trying to say. That's how they're trying to paint it. Now, is it a right-leaning ideology where it's like, you are independence and leave me alone? In the traditional political space, yes, that is right-leaning. But at the same time, to be fair, right, they don't deserve the control they have. We've dedicated this show to prove you how much these people are scumbags, how much these central bankers are scumbags. Even the head of the European Central Bank is a convicted criminal, Christine Lagarde. So, again, like, why would I trust a system that has consistently fucked me over, right? That was born literally out of a financial crisis, in which no banker went to jail. The government can't be trusted. These central bankers cannot be trusted. And this is why we Bitcoin. So again, like, would Bitcoin have been born if it wasn't for the necessity of having Bitcoin to protect you from the people that you supposedly would trust? I don't think it would have. It was born out of necessity, and it says it in the Genesis block. Chancellor on the second bailout for banks. Not only was Satoshi right, he was 100 times right, bro. Because they did it 3 times, they did it 4 times, they just keep printing money. QE to infinity, what you said yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like, if you want to conflate it in the traditional political realm, where it's like, is Bitcoin right-wing, whatever, like this and that, they're like, yes, and going back to the Associated Press article, do I agree with that guy and his website, you know, about being like, you know, he was anti-Semitic and didn't believe in certain races? I absolutely don't agree with him, right? But at the same time, right, dude, he has a website. Those are his opinions, right? If people feel like paying money for his opinions, so be it. I don't agree with them, but I also don't agree that a government or a state or a person should have the right to freeze someone's account, because we've seen that abused, and now we're living in an era where money has become heavily politicized and weaponized to the point that we're on the cusp of central bank digital currencies, and Biden just said that he wants every transaction above $600 to be reported to the IRS. So listen, I tried to be empathetic to his points, right? But at the same time, I think he was wrong in many of them, right? And I think the article is wrong in many of them, but it's the phrasing that they're trying to phrase this in, right? They're trying to phrase it as if Bitcoin is this right-leaning technology, and it's this right-leaning technology because the state can't get access to it. Like, man, Bitcoiners are not, their political beliefs are all over the place.
Yeah.
But we have one thing in common.
Bitcoin.
Just leave us the fuck alone, and we will leave you alone. It's as simple as that, right? So, like, you know, in the sense that, like, the wealth distribution, right, that I guess some people on the political left are used to, right? In a Bitcoin world, that's going to be much more difficult to do, right? Again, it's what Phil said, right? Like, you're going to actually have to provide value to get something in return, right? So that's the world we're heading towards, right? That's the benefits that Bitcoin gives you. It protects your wealth from the state, right? It allows you to give all of your wealth to your family to pass it on without having to deal with any intermediaries. If you are a citizen of North Korea, right, in a communist country, and you're not entitled to private property, if you manage to get a cell phone that has data to the internet, connected to the internet, you could download a Bitcoin wallet, and now all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, you have private property in North Korea. And if you memorize those words, you can take it with you anywhere around the world. In fact, if you die and you don't tell anybody your words, you could take Bitcoin to your grave, and no one's gonna have access to it. So again, like it's a very touchy subject. Is it right wing? I don't think so. I think it's freedom wing, to be honest, right? I think it's separating what I've been saying, separating the money from state. And to be honest with you, I think that's going to piss a lot of people off on the political right and on the political left, right? So I don't think that Bitcoin is a right-wing technology. I think it's a freedom-enabling technology. And because it's a freedom-enabling technology, it's going to piss off the tyrants on both sides of the political spectrum. Phil?
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. And, you know, I just want to go back to a point that we've made in the past. You know, Bitcoin is the money of enemies for a reason. Okay? It doesn't matter that we don't agree on political views. It doesn't matter that we don't stand on the same side of the aisle or anything like that. But we should all be able to agree that none of us deserves to have our value taken away from us by the government money printer. I don't really care whether you're a lefty or a righty. Everybody should be allowed to store their value. Everybody should have the opportunity to store their value as safely as possible. And they should have the opportunity to have censorship-resistant money. So this is just... We said this months ago. We said this months ago that they were going to do this, okay?
You caught it. I remember.
The next step... The next step is 100%, okay? You guys will see this, because this isn't going to work, okay? Because people are instantly going to from this narrative. I mean, obviously, they'll keep churning out the drivel, right, to get the low-hanging fruit, but they're going to pivot away from that, and they're going to start to create the narrative that Bitcoin is responsible for the deteriorating world economy and what is happening. Okay? They're going to find some way, some hocus pocus way to do that. And another thing is that, again, to Nico's point, we don't agree with this person's views. I don't really care what their political affiliations are. Okay? But you know what? They have a right to have those views. And this country was built on standing up for the right for everybody to have free speech and to have those views. The same way that they're allowed to have those views, I'm allowed to have opposing views. And I'm allowed to be as aggressive as that person with their views, with my views. But somehow I don't know what's happened. We've like lost this spirit, right? We've lost the spirit of debate. We've lost the spirit of discussion. We've lost the patience for differing ideas. We don't have to agree with them. But if we insulate ourselves from all of these ideas, right? Like, we are not doing ourselves any favors, okay? Censorship is not the answer. You can easily see where censorship ends.
On both sides of the political spectrum.
That's right, on both sides.
Yes.
And and a lot of people sit there and say, oh, I'm all for censorship because I don't agree with this. Look, I completely understand that until somebody censors you. Right? Until somebody makes it so that you can't pay for a life-saving treatment or something like that because you made some transaction 6 months ago in some frickin' town that was, that was flagged for who knows what. I mean, we don't realize the psychotic, completely insane things that they can do with this if we let them win. And letting them win consists of letting them divide us all, which they've had no, you know what I mean? The governments have had no problem, okay? The mainstream media, I mean, pretty much just does it for them for free. And, look, we just need to all find a Schelling point. And Bitcoin is that Schelling point. Everyone, whether we agree or not, deserves to store the value that we worked for.
Absolutely. No, 100%, dude. And, and look, if you look at the traditional, left-wing tropes, right, which is taking care of the disadvantaged person, right? Bitcoin gives access to the unbanked, right? Mm-hmm. Bitcoin gives the chance to the people in society that are poor, the people. Remember, guys, 45% of the U.S. doesn't have the means to save in equities or in real estate.
Yeah.
So they save in cash.
Yeah.
Bitcoin helps them. It helps everybody. That's the thing. So is that really? And again, how do you have? You can't have one or the other. How do you have an uncensorable, a currency that's not allowed to be debased if it's allowed to be censored, right? It's like freedom of speech. It has to be absolute. Why? Mm-hmm. Why does it have to be absolute? Because the moment that there's someone at the top deciding, right? Again, that guy's going to be biased. So the best way was for everyone to speak freely and for the best decisions, right, to make it through the marketplace of ideas and let, the debate happen. Same with Bitcoin is kind of the same, right? Censorship resistant money. Anybody is allowed to use the Bitcoin network and send to whoever. Why? Why is that possible? Because there will be some government in some place around the world, right, that wants to censor or is tyrannical or doesn't want that person to have a bank account. We have the example in Afghanistan, right, of, these Afghanis that got cut off from the legacy financial system, right? Western Union stopped. The Fed shut down the Afghan central bank, right? I think the president fled with $114 million. There was nothing left. And then you heard these little, shining light of hope, of orange hope stories of these, young Afghanis that found a way to essentially receive money from overseas through Bitcoin, right? And then, of course, there's going to be examples of, it's the same like freedom of speech. There's going to be people that say things you don't agree with, right? And there's going to be people that say things you agree with. There's going to be transactions that you agree with. There's going to be transactions that you disagree with. But it has to be absolute, because if it's not absolute, the person at the top is going to control what they like, what they don't like, and we're going to end up with the system we have now.
Which doesn't serve everyone.
It only serves the people that are deemed bankable. If you're deemed unbankable because of the country that you happen to be born with, Again, this is very left-wing what I'm saying right now. Just because you happen to be born in a certain country, do you think it's fair that you're not allowed a bank account? Because that's how the traditional legacy system works. So do you think that's fair? Don't you want to give those people a shot? That's what Bitcoin does. So
now
again,
that's actually inclusion.
So
that
again,
sounds inclusive, Nico.
So again, I'm sticking by this. Bitcoin is not right-wing. It has components of traditional right-wing ideology, and it has major components of traditional left-wing ideology. Okay? This is freedom-enabling technology for everybody. It's equal. It's equal. Anybody could have access to the network. If you have more Bitcoin than someone else, you don't have more say over the network, right? That's super equal to me, bro. That's not how the legacy system works. If you have more fiat than someone else, you could finagle the fiat system to work in your advantage. With Bitcoin, it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you have. You cannot finagle the Bitcoin system to work to your advantage. An example of that was the 2017 fork wars, when corporations tried to take over the Bitcoin network and they had the means and they failed. You want to know why they failed? Because the people running the nodes spoke up and gave them a middle finger. They said, no, the people are going to run this. This is the people's money, not your money. So again, just trashy articles, and it's going to be an attack vector, especially in countries, like I said, that have the most to lose when Bitcoin becomes global reserve currency. I suspect that, some people on the political left, they might say that. They might say, the garbage that was said in that article, right? So just warning you guys, and, this episode might be a little contentious, but I felt like it was very important to cover this topic, especially from two Bitcoiners' perspectives. We have our own personal ideologies, Phil and I, right? But at the same time, Bitcoin is bigger than the traditional political parties. And I think Nayib Bukele really touched upon this in El Salvador, right? Like, his new party is called the New Party because he was tired of the left party and the right party of the last century, right? Like, we're moving on. Those traditional tropes, like just let everyone be free. What's the problem? Like, let everyone have a shot. Right? You want equality? Okay, Bitcoin is the vehicle towards that equality. It gives people a shot where they wouldn't even have a chance because of the place they were born in. So man.
They pretend that they want a global economy and have global citizens, but really what they want is global slaves and global serfs. And that's it. So all of this stuff is nonsense. It really is.
Totally. But like, whether you're on the right or the left, do you want to be a slave? No.
No. Do you think you deserve that your money loses its value? Like, whether you're right on the left, everyone's going to do a job. Everyone is trying to earn a living. Everyone is trying to make the future generations' lives better. We should all be able to agree on Bitcoin just for that. But they understand, right? The mainstream media, the governments, they understand it's very easy to divide people. Our incentives are broken. The money is broken. The products that we have are garbage. I mean, come on. This is nonsense.
One of the things that, really
terrible.
One of the things that really bothers me in the U.S. right now, the political left, right? This idea of socialism is, it's become very popular. And the reason it's become very popular is because young people like myself feel like they've been wronged. And they're right, they've been wronged, right? They are less wealthy than their parents.
That's right.
But the answer, unfortunately, and the reason I know this is because I come from a socialist country, is not socialism. It's not the economic system that's broken. It's the money that's broken. The money has been stealing from you. The money has been taking away your economic opportunities. The money is. Yep. Not the economic model. It's the money. You fix the money, watch what happens. Everything will get better. You want to know how I know that? I've been holding Bitcoin for 5 years. Maybe a little bit more than that. And Phil, same story from him. And you know how many people I've had on my podcast, my personal podcast, and on Simply Bitcoin. Amazing stories, how Bitcoin changes their life. Because the moment that you change your unit of account for something that doesn't steal from you, it holds its value because it can't be debased. All of a sudden, I don't know why, but psychologically you become happier. So it's much bigger than the traditional left-wing and right-wing parties that they use to control us. Anyways, Phil, my camera cut off.
Yeah.
Could you take us to there was a website by Plebe.
Websites by plebes. All right, everyone. Let's take a look. We've got the Seed Signer Setup Guide, and this was done by fellow Bitcoiner Shishi, which you can actually he joins us on BTC Kindergarten on Wednesday, so you can find him over there. Take a look. Beautiful step-by-step guide. Great pictures, great explanations. I've got all the parts, as I've said before. I am finally going to build this thing myself, and I'm going to use Shishi's guide to do it. So let's see how this goes.
Absolutely.
I can already see I have different parts than him. I see that there's an issue. Already there's an issue because I've got the topless one. I've got the new one. So boom, right away my instructions. That's not going to be the same. Anyways, whatever. It's all good. That's what I'm used to.
Man, open source is beautiful. Shout out to Shishi for putting together such an incredible guide. And of course, we'll link it down in the show notes if you guys are interested in building a seed signer. We had Mr. Seed Signer himself a couple episodes ago kind of explaining it. I would definitely recommend that episode, by the way. But guys, that was our show. Quick shout out to our sponsors. Get your tickets right now. Bitcoin 2022. Get them fast because the price is going to go higher. There's 10% link down below, 10% off the tickets. Get them as soon as possible, though. The tickets do increase as the months go by. A recent guest that was announced is Adam Back. He's going to speak, so we shall see. Phil and I are going to try to be there as well. Also, check out CryptoCloaks.com for the best Bitcoin 3D printed merch like the Honey Badger, the Bitcoin Grenade. Check the link below for 5% off anything on the store. Check out Citadel 21 for the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's written by plebs, for plebs, pure pleb signal. Again, get yourself a physical copy. There's only 1,000 made of each volume. Citadel21.com. And check out Pirate Hash. Pirate Hash has some awesome Bitcoin trinkets like a board game, a poster, super cool stuff. It's done by the same developer that made the UI for BISC, the decentralized exchange. Again, piratehash.com. Guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the catastrophic NFT fails and all of them and the Bitcoin news from the Pleb perspective, definitely consider subscribing, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.
And to quote Beauty on Bitcoin is, and that's enough.